you guys have been doing analytical geometry for for 2 previous lessons. So last week, Tuesday and Thursday, you were doing that. So you learned about the circles and the circle at the origin and then the circle off center and how to find the equation using completing the square. And today we're just going to work on questions that have to do with points on the circle, inside the circle, or outside the circle. So I suggest you have, you take a screenshot of this table here, or make a quick note of it, because you are going to need it later as we go down and do questions on it. Okay, so what are we basically talking about is if we have a point, a given point anywhere on the Cartesian plane, and we have a circle with a center with coordinates A and B, whatever those coordinates are, then we can determine if that point lies inside, outside, or on the circle. So that's what this little bit here basically says, is it is possible to verify whether a given point lies inside the circle, on the circle, or outside the circle. And we are going to do this by comparing the distance between the given point and the center with the radius. So that distance that is between the point and the center, and we're going to see how that compares to the radius. And then if we look at it this way, where we have C, the center of the circle, and here's my point T, the given point, the point that I'm working with, we're going to calculate the distance between TC. Here's the radius, and we're going to compare that distance of TC to the radius. And if that distance is smaller than R, then we're going to conclude that point T lies within the circle. And if you look at the sketch, it makes a lot of sense, right? Guys, we need to just stay muted, please. It creates quite a bit of background disturbance. So please just stay on mute unless you're asking a question. Okay, so that's the first scenario. The other scenario that can happen is that if I take the center and my point in question, the point that I'm working with, and I calculate the distance between point T and point C, which is the center, and if that distance is the same as the radius, then T lies on the circumference of the circle. And again, if you just look at the picture, that makes a lot of sense, because if the distance between that point and the center is the same as the radius, then it has to lie on the circumference, because the radius is the distance from the center to the circumference of the circle. Okay, and then lastly, we could have a situation where T lies outside of the circle. So that point that I'm looking at, here is the center. And again, if I calculate that distance between T and C, and I find that that distance is actually bigger than the radius. So if TC is greater than the radius, then that point lies outside the circle. Okay, so also in the upcoming questions, if you maybe get stuck or something, not sure, draw a little sketch, see what the question actually tells you, what it represents, and that is often very useful, especially in analytical geometry, to just draw a sketch. Okay, so quick screenshot of this, quick note of this, because we are going to need it as we go down and start answering some questions. All right, so the first question is this one here, and it says that, does the point A, 2 and 6, lie inside, on, or outside the circle? And here we have the equation of the circle. So we're going to figure out if that point lies in, on, or outside. So it's often quite useful to just write down what it is that you have and what it is that you need. What you need is the distance between A and C. A and C, basically the distance between this point and the center of the circle. What you have is C. You've got this, the center of the circle. And pop that in the chat for me. What is the center of the circle, by the way? We have the equation here. What are the coordinates of the center of the circle? Put it in the chat. Let me see how much you remember from last week. Let's get some more, guys. We're about 90 strong. So we want to see lots of answers. Coordinates of the center.
Let's go, my people. Just note, if you can't hear us like nicely, it's okay. We are recording the lesson and you should have the lesson by tomorrow. If you want to rewatch it, it will be accessible by tomorrow. Okay. So we are having note of that.
Unfortunately, guys, if it's breaking up and you have load shedding where you are, there isn't much we can do from our side. But if you are having a technical issue, just shoot a message over to Miss Yolanda and I'm sure she'll be able to help you. Okay, so our center is 7 and -10. And I see there's some confusion about is it positive, is it negative, is it positive, is it negative. So listen up, I'm going to explain one more time. How do we get these coordinates and why are the signs different to what they are in the brackets? Because to get the coordinates of the center, you basically solve for those brackets as if they were equal to 0. And if you ever get stuck and you wonder about this ever again, just do this. So just solve as if they are equal to 0, because if they are equal to 0, you'll see x is 7, y is -10. Righty, so no more confusion about that, hopefully ever again. Now you know. What is the R? What is my radius? Pop that in the chat. Let's see if we all know how to find the radius. That's it. We're going to square root that 49 and it's going to be 7. Okay, so now we get to actually figuring out, does it lie inside, on, or outside? So for that, we need to calculate AC. And we now have all the information that we need to calculate the distance of AC. And we're going to take our x coordinates. We just use the distance formula that you've been learning since grade 10. So we're going to just go 2 minus 7 squared plus 6 minus -10 squared. You are substituting in a negative, so be careful with the substitution here. I've seen people mess up distance so many times because of the substitution. If you're subbing in a negative, it is going to become a positive here. But use that calculator, make the calculator work for you. Kagiso, let's hear you have a question. Before I continue, everyone else can carry on so long and see if you can find the distance of AC. Yes, Kagiso?
So, ma'am, if you like, because I just added the coordinates of A into my equation of the circle, because if it's inside the circle, ma'am, it will give me a lower R squared. And if it's outside of the circle, it'll give me a higher R squared. And
Beautiful.
if it's literally on the line of the what's it called, the circumference, it's gonna give me 49.
Perfect.
So could I have done it like that?
Perfect. Yeah. Good stuff,
Thanks, ma'am.
Well done. Okay, so the rest of us, I'm going to explain just now what Kagiso said because it's actually very clever. So what do we get? We get 16,76. I'm going to trust you that that's correct. 16,76. Now AC in this case is greater than the radius. Therefore, does it lie inside, outside, or on the circle? And we said if AC is greater than R, then it has to lie outside the circle. Oops, I am spelling wrong. Okay, so just briefly what Kagiso said, just in case some of you didn't hear it, what he did was he substituted point A into the equation of the circle. So he got 2 minus 7 squared plus 6 plus 10 squared. And that gave him an answer of 281. And if you compare that, 281, and we square root that. So the square root of 281 is going to be this 16,76 that we also got. And that way he also got that this is greater than 7. So it's outside the circle. What exactly is outside the line? Outside the circle. So if it's outside the circle, it's like this. Picture number 3. That's what outside the circle means. Okay, Kamogelo, yes. You can unmute and ask your question.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
My question is, in an examination, during exam, do you advise us to write our answer for the distance as root 281 or as the decimal?
It's probably best to write it. Look, you're going to have a step here that says AC is root 281, and it's just so that it's easier to compare 16,76 to 7, or just 281 to 49, which is the squares. So either way is fine, as long as you show what you are comparing. And here I compared AC to R, so that's why I made it decimals.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Right, now it's your turn. We've got a few questions here for you. Question 1.3. In each case, determine whether the given point lies inside, on, or outside the given circle. So for 1.3, we've got x squared minus 4x, this equation here, and then the 0.3 and negative 2. What is the first thing we're going to have to do to figure this out? Yes, good, Zedalia, very good. So we are going to have to complete the square first, because we can't see what the center of the circle is because it's not in center radius form. So we need to make it look like that by a little bit of algebraic manipulation. Okay, so I want you to try it, practice what you learned last week, and then as soon as you have an answer for your circle, put it in the chat. Complete your square and find your center and calculate your distance. See if you can do the whole thing. But I think let's just, so that we don't make too many mistakes, let's just do the center of the circle and complete by completing the square, and then put that in the chat.
We can do this, my people. Let's do it.
Yes, put all constant numbers on the other side.
A good skill of doing complete the square.
Yeah.
Very nice.
It's a very important skill. You use it quite a bit, not just here, but in graphs when you find the turning point of a parabola. Are we done yet? Put your answer in the chat. Just your circle with your center in your circle equation in center radius form.
Remember, we are muted, everybody, until you want to talk or ask a question. If you can raise your hand.
Are we stuck? Hey, Miss Yolanda, this is taking them a while to do.
Yeah, I think
forgotten.
because if you guys are done, you can definitely just say done on the chat. Like this, we know that we can carry on. Because it's easier that I think it's just the typing that is taking longer. You see, there we go, my people. That's it. Okay.
The typing can't take too long.
You know how everyone is. It's like, I need to type this long answer.
Oh. No, not it can't be that bad. If you want to know how to make a square, you just make a little thing that looks like that. I think it's number 6 on your keyboard and a 2.
Yeah, definitely. If you press shift and then press 6, you'll make a little copy to do the.
Yes. Someone was having an Afrikaans Mondela. You better put your cappies on your E's. Se, he, le. Okay. So I'm going to carry on. Zedalia, you have a question? I'm going to write while I talk to you. Yes, you can ask.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
I just wanted to ask. If we do have the answer, are we allowed to unmute and tell you then instead of typing it?
Of course, yes. So stay on the line.
Yes. Stay on the line. Okay, perfect.
Now there's an
Thank you,
echo.
I think it's her line, so her line makes you have an echo. For some reason, I'm not.
Right. Okay. Right. So Zedalia, what have you got?
You have to mute the
Is there
Delia.
still an echo, ma'am?
No, it's fine. You can go. Oh, there's the echo.
Okay, I got
Okay, let's carry on. So I'm gonna make this x minus 2 squared plus y plus 5 squared. And it's 19 plus 4 is 23 plus 25 is 48, I think. Indeed. Oh, wait, I might have done something wrong here. Yes, it's a negative 19. So it's negative 19 plus 4 plus 25. And then I get 10. Yeah. Okay, so Sumalezi agrees. And Segofatso also, and I hope everyone who's written done also agrees that's what they got. Okay, so that's not all we have to do. We still have to find the next part, which is to say if this point that we have here is on, out, or inside the circle. So we are going to work out the distance between the center and the point. So that distance, I'm just going to call it D for distance. So don't simplify the square. I'm not sure what you mean. When we get to this point here, it's as far as we can go. We've completed the square and the circle is now in center radius form. So that's all we needed. That's what we wanted. So now we're gonna work out this distance, and it's -2 + 5 squared. And let's see what you get. Put your answer. I'm sure everyone can type this. Is it in, out, or on? In, out, on. And Ms. Yolanda, do you think that's manageable? In, out, on.
I think that's the shortest thing. In, out, on.
So we get our distance is 10 or √10. And our radius, remember this is the radius square in the circle. So the radius is also √10. So therefore it's on the circle.
Well done, my people. Well done, guys. We nailed it. Well done.
Good stuff. Okay, let's go to question 2. It's a bit more of a challenge. And I do hope that some of you might be able to put hands up and tell me what you think we should do here. So have a read through, have a think, draw a picture if you are not sure. What is plotting? Don't underestimate the power of a picture. Glandy, you can unmute and ask your question. Glandy.
Hi. Glendy, are you there? You have to press the unmute button on your side.
Okay.
There we go.
Celine, can you please explain the first step on 1.3?
That is completing the square. Do you know how to complete the square?
Yes.
So you take half the coefficient of the x, which is -4, and divide it. So half of -4, that gives me -2, and you square it, you add it, and then you do the same here with +10 for the y's. So you're going to complete the square twice, for the x, once for the x's, once for the y's. Then you take the coefficient of y, which is 10, halve it, that's 5, and square it. So that's +5 squared. But because this is an equation, it means what you do on one side, you must also do on the other side.
The other side.
So you add the -2 squared and the +5 squared on the other side as well.
Okay.
And then you make your brackets. Your brackets are always the x and then the minus or the plus, whatever number it was that you added and squared. That's now a perfect square, because a perfect square is x minus 2, x minus 2. That's a perfect square. So that's why we have x minus 2 squared. And the same with the y's.
Okay.
Okay. Right, so we are back here with question 2. Let's see, does anyone have any ideas yet of how we are going to tackle this question? It says, calculate the values of P if point if point A, P and 2, lies on the circle. Kagiso, you've got an idea. Let me know. You can unmute.
So if it lies on the circle, means that the radius or r squared will be equal. So basically,
Equal to,
to the circle's r2, ma'am, of
okay, yes.
AC will be equal to the, what you call it, the circle's r2. So basically, you're gonna have
Yes.
to do find the r2 of your circle.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to put it in, what is this thing called again? Center radius form. Then you're gonna substitute your AP your A, which is P2. Then you'll have to solve for P.
Perfect. Okay, good stuff. Thank you very much, Kagiso.
No problem, ma'am.
Okay, so our work is going to start here with doing exactly what we just did, completing the square so that we can find the radius of the circle. So let's all do that. Let's start there. And then we are going to, if we have the radius, because if it lies on the circle, it means the distance from this point A to the center is the same. It's equal to the radius of the circle. And then we can make an equation and solve for what that x coordinate P is actually. Right, so we're going to go x squared minus 10. Let's see if we can speed it up a bit, guys. As soon as you're done with completing your square, what you can maybe do then is just write down what you get for the radius. Because if you completed your square correctly by putting your equation into center radius form, then we should be able to all get the same radius. Root of 10. Yeah, I also get 10 or root 10. Perfect. Okay, and because our P is just an X value and it lies on the circle, our Y is 2, and because it lies on the circle, the radius will be equal to 10. So we can just substitute the P into the equation of the circle. So we have P minus 5 squared, 2 minus 3 squared. And then P minus 5 plus 1. Minus 5 comes from half of negative 10 for when you actually complete the square. So to complete the square, you look at the coefficient of x, that's negative 10. You divide it by 2. That gives you minus 5. You square it, add on both sides. That's where the minus 5 comes from. Okay, so now we have P minus 5 squared is equal to 9. And as soon as you have some P values, put them in the chat. Let me see what are you getting. Are we getting answers? You should get 2. If you only got 1, you need to go back and see why I say there should be 2. Okay, so if we want to be quick, we can just take the square root here of p minus 5. But if we take it on this side, don't forget, the square root of 9 can be positive or negative. Grade 8 stuff, grade 8 algebra, and everyone has forgotten it by the time they get to matric. P minus 5 and negative 3. So then P minus 5 is 3, or P minus 5 is negative 3. Then P is 2 on this side, or P is 8. Perfect. So that's how we get those 2 answers. Good stuff, guys. Okay, take your screenshots. Make sure you ask another question if you are not sure about something. In a few seconds, we're going to move on. Yes, Yudiswa.
Ma'am, can you explain this to me again?
Okay, which part?
Okay, I got the part about completing the square,
Yes.
but how to find the value of P? I'm not sure if I got that.
Okay, so the point A lies on the circle. So
Yes.
if it lies on the circle, then the distance from the center to A is the same as the distance of the radius. So once we have the equation of the circle, I'm actually going to draw it. I think then you'll understand. So here's C, our center, which we said is 5 and 3. And here's A. A might be here somewhere. So because A is on the circumference of the circle, we can just take the coordinates of A and substitute it into the equation of the circle. So that's why I sub in P for X, and then Y is 2 in this step here. And then I
Okay.
solve my equation.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Kamugelo has a question. I'm going to scroll to the next one so that those of you who want to start working on it can go for it. Kamugelo, you have a question? Go on.
Oh, ma'am, I didn't have a question. I wanted to explain it to her.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Hello, ma'am.
Who am I speaking to now?
You're speaking to Tsogofatso.
Hi, Tsegofatso. Oh, there you are. Okay.
So, ma'am, if there's 2 P's, how do we know which one is exactly the coordinate of A? Which X is for the coordinates of A specifically?
How do you know which it is? Well, it can,
Yes.
because it is a circle, it can, and a circle, remember, is symmetrical, so it can be either one.
Yes. Oh, so when we write the answer for the coordinates of A, we just write 8
Yeah.
is to 2, or
Yeah, so if they wanted you to give us like narrow it down, eliminate one option, then they would need to say what quadrant A is in. Is A,
okay.
because then you, or give you just more clues so that you can know if it's 8 or 2.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Alrighty, so here's our last question. A circle with center M touches the y-axis at E and passes through F. Write down the coordinates of E and F. So have a look at this diagram and see if you can figure out what E and F are. Post it in the chat if you know. I've got some hands up. I just want to see. There's also a question in the chat. Ma'am, can we not use the distance formula? The distance formula will give you the exact same thing. And you'll put your distance formula equal to 10. And actually have a look, and you'll see that the distance formula and the formula for a circle, it's actually exactly the same thing. Okay, Yuliswa, you have your hand. Is it still up or is it a new hand? Yuliswa?
I think that was an old hand.
Oh, it was an old hand. Okay. Okay. So remember, guys, we're just finding coordinates. So we just need to play around with what's here. If we were finding the distance of something, then maybe we would be looking at Pythag. But for now, maybe not so much. Okay, so handy part is that this is 90 degrees. Great. Some of you are saying that E is 0 and 2. That's perfect. I agree with that. How do we get that? Okay, so the center is here at M, and the y coordinate is 2. So if we move across to E, that is on the y-axis, the x coordinate must be 0, and that y coordinate is going to be the same. That's 2. Now be careful with your F, because we got caught out with this F in the other class as well. So think carefully about your F. Remember that the radius is 5. How do we know that? Because of this x coordinate here. M is -5, so the radius is 5. So don't get caught out with the F. I see a few people are not getting caught out. Good. But many of you are getting caught out. So if you have said that F is -5 and -2, you need to rethink. And I've just given it away, actually, because I gave you the radius.
Yeah.
Or I pointed out the radius. I made it more visible.
Y'all need to buy that.
So definitely the x coordinate is -5, but yeah, the y coordinate is going to be -3 because we move from 2 5 units down to -3. Nice little thinking question. Okay, let's do B, the equation of the circle. Root 10 for this question. It won't be, because it's just the distance from M to the circumference. And we read that from this x coordinate that's given here. So the radius is 5. The radius is 5. The radius squared, you can think about what that is. Or the previous one. The previous, isn't the radius root 10? Yes, the radius is root 10. This one here. Root 10. Okay, Kamugelo. Look how nicely she's typing. Not a problem at all. Palesa, you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry to disturb, but can you please re-explain how you got the -3 for point F?
Okay, so we see over here. So let's do this. This vertical distance is the same as this vertical distance, and it's 5. So if I move 5 down on the x-axis, on the y-axis, then it's like 2 minus 5. and that's going to take you to -3. So the coordinate, the y coordinate is going to be -3.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so to get the equation of our circle, we need x minus a squared plus y minus b squared equals r squared. We have the center, the coordinate of the center, so it's x plus 5, y minus 2, and then r squared is 5 squared, which is 25. Good stuff, everybody. Okay, last question for this one. Determine whether the point -3 and 6 lies in or outside the circle. Put your answer in the chat as soon as you've worked it out. Give this your last little bit for the day. Let's see if you all understood. If you can crack it, make this your sort of last little check. People are saying inside. Nice answer, Pinka. Nice and complete. Nice, Kamugelo. 20 smaller than 25.
Miss B, sorry, can we
Yes.
go to the last question? We just want to see and check our R
Where's that?
on the last question that we were at. Sorry to bring you back.
The previous one.
Yes. There we go. Okay, so our R is √10. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Excuse me, ma'am, can I please ask the question again?
Sure. Yes. Who is this?
Will it be wrong if we use Kagiso's method during our exam, like when we're writing exam?
No, not at all. No, it's fine.
Okay, thank you.
I'm actually doing it right now. I'm just trying to work it out quickly. I keep spelling circle wrong today. Don't know why. Because in Afrikaans it's circle. I'm getting confused. Okay, guys. So quite a few said inside. Well done. Yes, you get 4,47, and that is less than 5. So it lies inside the circle. How do you know it when it's inside? It's when the distance from the center to your point is less than the radius. And I go back to this previous little picture, this first picture here. This distance, that's when it lies inside the circle. The distance is smaller than the radius. Okay, here's another Kamogelo. Yes, you have a question?
Good evening, ma'am. I wanted to ask, like, in terms of the distance formula, why is it not over 2?
The distance formula divided by 2. No, the distance formula is not divided by 2 because it's square rooted. I'm not sure what you're thinking of, or you may be thinking of the diameter, because if you're working out the diameter of a circle, then you divide it by 2 to get the radius. But the normal distance formula, we don't divide by 2, no.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Using midpoint also. Yeah.
Yeah, so Kamogelo, maybe you're thinking of the midpoint formula, and that's where you add the coordinates and divide by 2. Alrighty, and we are finished on time. Thank you so much, Grade 12. It was lovely being with you again this evening, and we were very productive. Well done to everyone who gave it your best. Please complete the poll, and maybe I'll see you again in the near future. Good luck with all you are doing and with all your academics and everything. All the best.
I think we need to scroll a little bit back so they can take screenshots. Yeah, there we go. Take your screenshots.
Bye, guys.
Nice, my people. Just vote so Yelena can have her screenshot. Very important. Oh, guys, yellow, lovely. It was such a pleasure to have Miss B here with us. I know, right? This gives us surprises every now and then, which is nice. It's like, surprise. My screenshot now so everybody can.
Gandhi, I think you cleared in already. You can check the recordings maybe, if there's anything there.
We definitely did Euclidean geometry, so it's there on the website for you.
Bye, guys.
Okay, bye everybody. I already took the screenshot. Thank you so much, Miss B. It was lovely having you as always.
Bye, guys. Homework. Wow. Now there's an idea. I'm gonna have to speak to Ms. Lee about homework.
Give them homework. That's why.
You're carrying on a little bit with analytical. So I think for the next 2 weeks or so, you're doing analytical. Done proportion. We revised proportion as well about 2 weeks ago, I think. But check the recordings. They're all up.
Yep.